Hello everyone, myself Dr. Jyoti Gangurde, Assistant Professor of Zoology, KTHM College, Nasik. Students, today we are going to discuss on practical of study of permanent slides, which includes the slides such as spicules and gemmules in sponges, then transverse section of cycon, transverse section of hydra, then the parts such as scolex and gravid proglottid of Taenia solium. So we can discuss all the TS or transverse section of sponges or Taenia solium one by one. Now here you can see in this slide, okay. So first introduction about spicules and gemmules, okay. Spicules and gemmules in sponges, they play a important role or they are acting as a skeletal framework. Okay, now such as sponges possess a skeleton, such a skeleton which is composed of elements and such elements secreted by itself. Now, which is made up of spicules or spongin fiber or either the combination of both, that is spicules or spongin fibers. So, these skeleton, that is spicules as well as spongin fibers, okay, such a skeleton which provides structure and support to the body of sponge. Okay, now after that there are different types of spicules or here the diagram of spongin fiber. So the types such as monoxon spicules, then dioxon spicules, trioxon, tetroxon, then pentaxon, or depending on the number of axons present, the spicule shows various types or on the basis of their shape. Okay, either disc-like or either what we say is that rays-like. Okay, they have again different forms or they have different names. Again, based on their size, that is either they are small in size or either they are large in size. According to that, again they have names. Now we can see all the types of spicules one by one. So here first we focused on spicules. Okay, now spicules, they are crystalline bodies. Such as crystalline bodies made up of simple spines or spines which radiating from a point. Such as spicules, they are either calcareous or siliceous in nature. Means what? They are made up of a material, that is calcium carbonate. Calcareous means it is made up of a material, that is calcium carbonate, as well as siliceous. Siliceous means what? Commonly we say that glass sponge. Okay. Why? Because the appearance of such a sponges which is acting as a glass, or what we say is that the siliceous means what? Main supporting framework or such as spicules, they are made up of a material, that is silicon dioxide. So what we say is that here such as spicules, they are either calcareous or they are siliceous in nature. Now the calcium carbonate or hydrated silica, such a deposition takes place around an axis of organic material. Now such as spicules are basally classified as larger megascleres or smaller microscleres. Means according to their size, either they are small in size, they are large in size. According to their size, again they have name, that is megascleres or microscleres. Now being larger in size, such as megascleres, they form the main and supporting framework of the sponge body. Whereas the microscleres are small in size or such as flesh spicules, they are present in mesenchyme. Okay. Now, so they have again, according to the size, okay, the spicules have again the names such as megascleres and microscleres, and again, okay, according to their location, okay, they perform different functions. Suppose megascleres are there, they are larger in size and they give a main mechanical framework, mechanical support to the body of sponge. Whereas microscleres, they are small in size and they are present in mesenchyme region. Okay, now we can focus on the classification. Now, are various types of spicules. First type, that is monoaxon spicule. Monoaxon spicule again shows the further type, that is monoaxon monoactinal and monoaxon diactinal. After that, tetraxon spicule, which again shows the types such as Trinis, Calthrops, Triradiate or Amphides. Then the third one, that is triaxon spicule. Triaxon spicule, which is a characteristic of glass sponges, means in glass sponges such as spicules, they are particularly present. Then polyaxon spicules, again such polyaxon are followed by a spongine fiber. Okay, now we can see all the types one by one. Before that, you can focus on the diagram once again. Here you can see monoaxon or monoactinal spicule. Now such a monoaxon spicule, here the growth of spicule which is long a single axis. Then monoaxon spicules may be straight or they may be either curved. You can focus on the diagram. What I am going to explain you easily understand. So monoaxon means what? Such as spicules, they are straight, okay, or they are either curved in shape. Now monoaxon spicules, again they further classified into monoaxon monoactinal spicule and monoaxon diactinal spicule. Now here the monoaxon monoactinal spicules, here in these spicules or in such a type of spicule, growth takes place in one direction of the single axis. Okay, you can see in the first diagram. And monoaxon diactinal, di means what? Two, or from both sides. So in these spicules, growth takes place on both sides of the single axis. Okay, according to such a position, the name given to the spicules. Now the second type, that is tetraxon spicule. Tetra means what? That is, you can see in the diagram, tetraxon spicule here. Okay, 4 rays are there, right? So tetraxon spicule. Now such a tetraxon spicules, they are also called as a tetractines and quadriradiates, right? So here such a tetraxon spicules, they consist of 4 rays and such a rays projecting in different directions from the common point. Now tetraxon can again shows further type or which may be or which is going to classified into the types such as Trinis, Calthrops, Triradiate and Amphides. Now the first one, that is Trinis. Trinis, they have 1 out of 4 rays and such a rays, they are longer than the other 3. Right, you can see in the diagram what it is. They have 1 out of the 4 rays longer than other 3. Now it has an appearance of the crown. Now the second type of tetraxon spicule, which is the Calthrops. Calthrops, here all the 4 rays are similar in length. After that, the Triradiate. Here in case of Triradiate, one of the 4 ray is lost and only 3 rays remain. Okay, you can see in the diagram also Triradiate. Okay, here you can see tetraxon or Triradiate, right? Again, the last type of tetraxon spicule, that is amphidisc spicule. Now amphidisc means what? Amphi means both. Disc means a disc-shaped structure which is present from both side of the spicule, that is amphidisc. Here you can also see in the diagram, okay, from both side of the spicule, such a disc-like, saucer-like structure which is present, and from its appearance, okay, the name given, that is amphidisc spicule. Now the third type, that is trioxon. Okay, here you can see trioxon spicule. Trioxon spicule, here the trioxon or hexaactinal spicules, they are, here you can see in this diagram, hexaactinal spicules are characterized by 3 axes crossing at right angle, therefore producing 6 rings, right? So trioxons are characteristic of glass sponges. Such a particular type of trioxon, or what we say is that hexaactinal trioxon spicules, they are the characteristic of glass sponges. Now the polyaxons. Polyaxons, here there are many equal rays radiating, here you can see in the diagram polyaxons, right? So there are many equal rays radiating from the central point, and hence which is called as a polyaxon, means many. Polyaxon means what? From a center point radiate many number of rays, that is polyaxon. Or such a rays, they may be grouped to give rise a star-like appearance. Okay. Now polyaxons are common among the microscleres. Here you can see, in case of microscleres, such a polyaxon spicules, they are very common. Now after that, spongin fibers. Spongin fibers are fine threads constituting of a soft granular axial core or medulla. Now such a medulla, such a structure which is surrounded externally by concentric layers of spongin. Now spongin, which is an organic horny elastic substance which is resembled to that of silk, or which is similar to that of collagen, okay, which have property which is similar to that of what, silk or collagen, or what we say that spongin, which is an organic horny elastic substance resembling the silk or collagen in its chemical composition. Now the spongin, which is made up of scleroprotein, and such a scleroprotein which is associated with sulfur. Now spongin fibers are secreted by specialized mesoglial cells, or such a specialized mesoglial cells, they are called as a spongioblast. Now spongin occurs in various forms in case of desmospongia. Okay, particular in desmosponge, such a type of spongin fibers, they are commonly present. Now after that, we can focus on gemmules. Now here, formation of the gemmules, which is one of the method of reproduction in many of the sponges. Now such a gemmules, they occurs in all the freshwater sponges, and they are also present in some marine forms. Now the gemmules, they are internal buds that a sponge form for the further process of asexual reproduction. Okay, now such a sponge, okay, they shows a asexual kind of reproduction by means of a process of budding. Okay, now and such a buds, okay, what we say is that in the form of gemmules. Now the gemmules, they are the internal buds that a sponge form for the purpose of asexual reproduction. Now these internal buds, they detach, okay, after some time they get detached from the body of sponge, and they develop into a new individual sponge. Okay, now the gemmules, they are capable of tolerating excessive cold or drought condition along with the desiccation. Means what? Like the spores, you know, the spores, they can survive, they can withstand in any adverse condition, in any adverse climatic conditions, such as what we say is that the high salinity, again if the high temperature, high cold, okay, in any kind of climatic condition, such as spores, they can withstand or they can survive. Like that of, okay, the gemmules are. Gemmules, they can withstand in any climatic conditions, such as desiccation, such as droughts, okay. or what we say is that the excessive coat. Now such a gemule, which is a small, tough and round shaped structure. Now which is consist of food-laden arachocytes. Okay, you can see in the diagram, and such a archaeocytes, which is covered by resistant chitinous capsule. Such a capsule, which is made up of two membranes. At one end of the capsule, a small outlet which is present called as a micropyle. Okay, with clarifying this, you can observe in the diagram. So here you can see, okay, before that, gemmules may have additional strengthening structures as a siliceous amphibious. Now spicules or monaxon spicules. Okay. Now such a gemmules. Gemmules are what? They are the asexual reproductive bodies. Okay. Such a structures, they are round in shape, they are tough. Okay. And they contains, okay, a food-laden structure, or what we say is that the archaeocytes, and such a food-laden structure which is covered by a resistant layer, that is a chitinous capsule. Now here such a gemmules may have additional strengthening structures as a silicial amphidisc spicules or monaxon spicules. Means it contains two type of spicule, siliceous amphidisc or monaxon spicule. Now under the unfavorable condition, the sponge may die and degenerate, but the gemmules survive and remain dormant until the favorable conditions. Okay. Now here the body of gemmule, which is construct like that, the surrounding layer, okay, which get degenerate in unfavorable climatic conditions, but the inner of the reproductive body which remain live for a longer period of time. Okay, so here under the favorable conditions, the sponge may die and degenerate, but the gemmules survive and remain dormant until the favorable conditions. Now, degeneration of the adult body, which results into setting free of gemmules from the body. Now, during the favorable conditions, the histoblasts, okay, they are set as a free. Blast means whatever the reproductive bodies, okay, whatever the content which are present or living content which are present inside the body of gemmule, such a structures, they are called as a histoblast. Now, so such a histoblast, okay, they set as free and they produce sperm and ova and giving rise to again new sponge. Okay, now this is what in case of the gemmules and spicules. Now the next slide is transverse section of cycon. Now transverse section of cycon, here which such a TS or transverse section of cycon which reveals here two cellular layers. The cellular layers such as pinacoderm and choanodom. You can also focus in the diagram pinacoderm, okay, and here you can see choanodom. Now in between these two layers lies a mesenchyme. Here you can see, right, pinacoderm, choanodom, and in between these two lies a mesenchyme. Now the pinacoderm controls the interrelation between the mesenchyme and external medium, while the choanodom controls the nutrition. Now we can see all the parts or all the layers one by one. Now the first layer is pinacoderm. Such a pinacoderm which is formed by pinacocytes and which is differentiated as a exopinacoderm and endopinacoderm. Now the exopinacoderm which forms or covering the entire body surface except the dermal ostia and osculum, whereas the endopinacoderm forms the epithelial lining of incurrent canal and spongiosole. Now the pinacoderm has a characteristic pinacocyte, which are large flattened and polygonal cells with central nucleus, and they are closely cemented with one another. Now this is in case of pinacoderm. After that, the choanoderm. Okay, choanoderm, which constitute the gastral epithelium and which is formed of oval or rounded polar cells. And here you can see, right, they form a rounded polar cells, or such a cells they are known as choanocyte. Now these cells they are arranged in the form of loose layer above the mesenchyme. Now each cell which constitute one or two two contractile vacuoles, a reserve food material or kinetosome, and a weep-like flagellum, right? So here the choanoderm, what it is? Choanoderm which constitute one or two contractile vacuoles, then reserve food, kinetosome, and a long weep-like flagellum. Okay, now the mesenchyme, third layer or the inner layer, which is the mesenchyme. Mesenchyme, which is the gelatinous matrix interconnecting in pinacoderm and choanoderm. Now it is gets supported or to be secreted by pinacoderm. Here there are variety of amoebocytes found in mesenchyme as a archaeocyte, colonocyte, then chromocyte, thesocyte, myocyte, scleroblast, gland cells, germ cells in the form of sperm and ova. Now here such a mesenchyme layer which shows embedded inside the monaxon and triaxon type of spicules. Okay, now after that, the next section, transverse section of hydra. TS of hydra or transverse section of hydra. Here in transverse section of hydra, the body of such a hydra which shows a central cavity. You can see in the diagram a central cavity or celenteron, okay, which is referred as a gastrovascular cavity, and such a gastrovascular cavity which gets surrounded by the body wall. Now there are two distinct layers, epidermis, such a epidermis, here you can see epidermis, okay, which is ectodermal in its embryonic origin, and gastrodermis, okay, here you can see gastrodermis, which is endodermal in its embryonic origin. Now in between this epidermis and gastrodermis, there is non-cellular thin transparent region, that is mesoglia. Okay, now in between this, okay, here you can see this is the mesoglia, right? Now we can focus all this layer one by one. First one, that is epidermis. Here there is the outer cellular layer which contains roughly cuboidal cells. Such a cuboidal cells get covered by a thin cuticular coating. Now there are various types of cells, they are present in this epidermal layer. The cells such as epithelio, muscle cells, then gland cells, okay, interstitial cells, lidoblast, sensory cells, nerve cells, as well as germ cells. Okay, all these cells they are present in what? In the first layer of the hydra or transverse section of hydra, that is in epidermis. Okay, what the layer? What the cells? Epidermis. Okay, which constitute the cells such as epitheliomuscle cells, gland cells, interstitial cells, lidoblast, sensory cells, nerve cells, as well as germ cells. Okay, now here you can see, right, here you can see lidoblasts are there, gland cells are there, sensory cells are there, Again here you can see nidoblast, nutritive cells are there. Okay. Then here you can see nerve cells are there. Okay. And as we know, sensory cell have the function of sensation, nerve cells which provide nerves. Okay. Like that. Okay. Nutritive cells, they provide nourishment, nutriment to the body of Hydra. Okay. Now after that, the second layer, that is gastrodermis. So gastrodermis is the inner cell layer of the body wall. It lines the gastrovascular cavity and which is formed by the large columnar cells. So the function of gastrodermis, that is such a layer which is nutritive in function. Now which constitute the types such as endothelial muscles, or what we say is that the nutritive cells, or endothelial gland cells. Okay. Now the second layer of the TS of Hydra is gastrodermis. Gastrodermis, which constitute the endothelial muscle cells, are also called as the nutritive cells, whereas the endothelial gland cells. Okay. Now this is what about the transverse section of Hydra. Now after that, the scolex in Taenia solium. Okay. Scolex in Taenia solium or in tapeworm. Now the body of Taenia solium, which is divided into three parts. Anterior one is the head, or which is also called as the scolex. Then short unsegmented body, which is neck, and segmented body, okay, which is called as a strobila. Now the scolex is the organ of attachment, and it is a quadrangular knob-like structure measuring about 0.6 to 1 mm wide. Here you can see, okay, this is the scolex or head of the tapeworm or Taenia solium. Now at the apex, here you can see, at the apex it bears bulbous rounded mobile cone-like or cone-shaped structure which is known as a rostrum. Okay. Now such a rostrum which is surrounded by two rows of 22 to 32 curved chitinous hooks. Now here you can see these are the curved or chitinous hooks. Such a hooks, they are at the anterior circle. They are larger in size as compared to the hooks they are present at the posterior of the sides. Okay. So anterior side, or what we say is that the anterior circle, the hooks they are larger in size, and those they are present at the posterior, they are smaller in size. Now each hook has a base for attachment. Okay. Now a blunt projection or handle and a blade. Okay. Now we can see in the diagram. Now after that scolex. Now the scolex, here you can say scolex which bear highly suctorial muscular suctorial organ, that is acetabulum or suckers. Okay. Suckers, they are present at the scolex region. Now these suckers, they are present at each angle of quadrangle. Here you can see quadrangle means 4. 1, 2, 3 and 1 from posterior side. Total 4 suckers are there. Okay. Suckers are devoid of hooks. With the help of 2 rows of hooks and suckers, the scolex remain firmly attached to the intestinal mucosa. Okay, now here the head region, or here the scolex, okay, which bears what? Rostrum. Rostrum which is provided, or which gets surrounded by 2 rows of hooks. Then the suckers, okay, suckers, they are nothing but the acetabulum. Okay, now this is about the scolex of Taenia solium. Now the next one, that is, okay, before that the main function of the scolex, that is, here you can see the hooks. Such hooks are present, and the hooks, they are useful for the attachment to the intestinal mucosa line, right? Why? Because it's a parasite which is a inhabitant of intestine of man or intestine of animals, right? So such a hooks, they are useful for the attachment to the submucosal layer of intestine, right? Whereas the suckers or acetabulum, or what we say that mouth, okay, such as suckers, they are useful for sucking whatever the nutriment, whatever the digested food material which is present in the intestine, or what we say is that which is already present in the intestine, on which food material, okay, such a Taenia solium which gets survived, or by means of suckers, okay, which get food material for their development, for their reproduction, okay, for its survival, okay. Now after that, the next slide is gravid proglottid in Taenia solium. Now the strobila of Taenia solium has three types of proglottid. Strobila means what? The posterior longer segment, okay, longer segment of the body of tapeworm, okay. Now such a segments, they are what? They, or such a region which is strobila, or such a segments, they are in the developmental zone, that is immature zone, mature or gravid zone, okay. Now here such a strobila of Taenia solium has three types of proglottids: immature, mature and gravid. Now the 200 just below the neck are considered as immature and there is no sexual maturity. Whereas the other, that is 400 to 450, they are considered as a mature and they have matured male and female reproductive organs. And therefore, they making the organism hermaphrodite, right? Hermaphrodite means what? Both the sexes, they are located, they are present in single body of animal, right? So then the last three last segments, that is 150 to 350 proglottids, are the gravid or ripened proglottids. Now the gravid proglottids are largest and oldest of the other kind of proglottid. Now in case of gravid proglottids, the male and female reproductive organs degenerate. Only uterus which get persist, and such a uterus which is full of fertilized eggs. Now here you can see, this is the section of gravid proglottid, means what? A last segment, okay, of the strobila. Here you can see, this is the gravid proglottid. Now here, after the maturing, okay, of after the fertilization, here you can see the uterus, okay, which get completely uterus, such a you can see here, which is a branch structure shape, right, or which get filled by numerous or more number of eggs, right. And after that, such a gravid proglottid, okay, here all the other organelles, they get degenerate, only the uterus which gets survive. Here you can see the branches of uterus, this is the main stem of uterus. This, here you can see serous or the gonopore, right. Here you can see the sperm duct, or this is what, the vagina, okay. Now after the formation of full gravid proglottid, okay, which get detached, okay, which get detached from the body of entire strobila or entire tapeworm, okay. And here you can see the number of eggs, near about 4 to 5 lakhs number of eggs, they are present in such a uterus. And now such a eggs, they come out to the external environment through a life cycle and again which can contaminate, which can enter through the food chain, and again which can survive in the first intermediate host and after that in definitive host. Okay, this is what all about this practical, that is TS of Hydra, then TS of Cycon, then Scolex, gravid proglottid. In case of spicules, what are the spicules, what are the germs? Okay. Thank you so much.